Hey ladies and gents, welcome back. So, we're going to be coming back to this what if. I've been gone for a little bit, and I haven't been uploading for a little bit. So yeah, don't worry about it. So, with me coming back to this, obviously I was like, hey, whatever, I don't really want to start a new what if, I'll just go back to the most recent one, so we're going to be doing part 2 to what if Naruto became corrupted. So with that being said, I'll do a brief recap because it's been like over a week since we last did this what if, and then we'll get into the new what if itself. So, in the last part, Naruto basically, there's this weird, like, fucking pathogen, giant frickin' meteor that came crashing down, and it had this weird, like, ooze that came out of it, and some gases, and everybody got, like, infected with it. A lot of people died, and the ninja villages basically went around, like, trying to survive, going into certain areas that weren't infected. So, eventually, this all, like, receded away, and Naruto and Jiraiya went back to that origin place where it was originally, where that meteor came down. And Naruto, thinking he's gonna be real smart and all, he walks down, and he just remembers, he's just like, oh yeah, I kind of started this whole thing, and he's looking inside that hole that he created when he fucking punched it open, or Rasengan'd it open. I don't really remember exactly what he did, but he basically, he looked in that hole and he sees, oh, there's still liquid in there. So a little mini earthquake starts happening, and it starts shaking up the liquid, and it makes more gas. Jiraiya manages to get out of the way of it, but Naruto is not so lucky because of the fact that, he was right next to the thing, and the gas gets out, Naruto breathes it in, and Naruto becomes infected. So, with that being said, let's get into the new material of the what if itself. So with Naruto beginning to walk away from Jiraiya, obviously Jiraiya would try to stop him. However, Naruto, he isn't really listening. He continues to walk away until he's out of sight of Jiraiya because he's going faster than him. So eventually, obviously, word would spread that Naruto somehow managed to survive this infection, but it seemed to completely change him, mentally and physically. So obviously people would be fairly concerned about this, like what if he became some like evil mastermind right now, and they think they need to deal with him, get rid of him, or maybe figure out exactly what's happening with him. So obviously speaking, a team of fairly powerful people, because, Jiraiya told them that Naruto is faster than him and he's like a legendary Sani, and so you'd think he'd be relatively quick. So a bunch of basically Kage level people. Jiraiya, Tsunade, because, obviously Tsunade would have been able to survive because, medical shit, why not? She'd be able to survive pretty easily. And a few of the other different, like, Kage would actually be tagging along here, like the Raikage, because, like, come on, let's be honest, he wouldn't just let this go. He'd be the first one to be like, I'm gonna either kill him or recruit him. He's gonna do one of the two. So he'd be right there along with them. So we'll say it's just the three of them. They go on this mission. They're looking to basically find exactly where Naruto is. So eventually they do find him. Naruto's just been chilling inside of this house that basically is just chilling in the middle of the woods somewhere. It's like a little log cabin. And they do find Naruto there. So Naruto's chilling inside of it, and they look at him. They're like, Naruto, is that you? Naruto looks up, and he's just like, yeah. He's like, I kind of left, but yeah, this is me. And they're just like, okay, well, you seem to at least be somewhat in your senses right now. Naruto's like, yeah. At first, when the power started, like, coming on to me, it was weird. I didn't really seem to be myself. I couldn't really make actions. I could think and I could see everything, but I wouldn't actually be able to, like, move my body in any way. It was kind of odd, but I did manage to take control again, and I just didn't really know where I was. I got really fucking lost, and here I am inside of this cabin now. So they're, oh, okay, well, sure, we'll take you back. At least that's what Jiraiya and Tsunade would be thinking and saying. However, A would not be so easily convinced. He's like, Naruto doesn't look the same. He has to be different, at least in some sort of way. So he asks exactly what powers this thing gave him. Naruto's like, oh, well, I'm not exactly 100% sure about that. Last time I tried to use anything, there's this purple chain that came out of my body, but like half a second after I used it, I like completely lost control and almost died, so like I decided not to use it again. Or not almost died, sorry. But he basically almost lost control, and he's just like, oh, would you like to show me this power? Naruto's just like, I literally just told you that I'm probably going to lose control if I try to use that again. And A is just like, I said to use it. The three of us are here. We'll be able to stop you if, something bad happens. Naruto's like, okay, fine, whatever. He didn't really know exactly the power that he had when he used this, but he's like, okay, yeah, you think the 3 Kage, basically level fighters, would be able to stop him. So Naruto's like, okay, fine. A purple chain would begin going outside of Naruto as it begins to circle around him. Naruto closes his eyes, trying to focus on not losing control and not, raging out at this point. And obviously, he is unable to. The corrupted power comes out of Naruto in a basically explosive show as Naruto's basically exploding with this purple chakra, basically exuding from Naruto's body from basically every direction. Obviously, the 3 people would, jump back because they'd be like, holy shit, what the hell is happening to Naruto right now? And they're like, okay, well, now we have to stop him. And Jiraiya's telling, he's just like, hey, he's like, dude, he literally told you he would lose control. Why did you want to see this? And it's just like, I needed to test whether or not Naruto would be a threat or a help to the village. And this is telling me Naruto is nothing more than a threat. As he charges forward, entering with his lightning cloak, he begins to charge towards Naruto, trying to he's just trying to kill him at this point. He's like, yeah, no, Naruto is just a complete and utter threat. He does not need to be alive anymore. I'm going to kill him at this point. Jiraiya and Tsunade would be against this, but they couldn't really do anything to stop him. A was stronger than both of them, and they couldn't really stop him in the first place, along with having to fight Naruto at the same time that they were fighting A. So they decide they're just going to let A fight Naruto. So Naruto and A would begin fighting, and Naruto has a complete and utter massive advantage in this battle. Naruto at this point is just smiling profusely. I can't speak, apparently. This power is really getting to him. He really likes it. He adores it. This amount of power Naruto has never seen before. He is actually debating. Does he even want to fight? Does he even want to fight this anymore? Or does he just want to let it overtake him? Could he get even stronger if you just let it take over? Naruto gets this and he's just like, yes, that is exactly what I'm going to do. He allows the power to completely overtake him. More and more of that purple chakra begins seeping out of Naruto, and it gets more and more powerful, more dense. And eventually, he obviously would kill A because, he's getting stronger. He was already above A. He'd kill him. So he ends up killing A, and he begins to face off towards Tsunade and Jiraiya. Jiraiya and Tsunade know this is, unless they get Naruto back in their right mind, he's going to kill them both. So Naruto charges forward, and he basically insta-kills Jiraiya. He doesn't have any regeneration, and he literally falls to the ground dead. Massive hole going out of his chest, and a chain basically protruding out the other end, where Naruto just stabbed him with it. He turns to face towards Tsunade as the chain swings back down, completely crushing her head and basically her entire body, as it basically cuts her in half with... It's not looking great for anybody around here. Nobody can really do anything to Naruto at this point. So Naruto, with his new chaotic self, would walk out of this cabin now. He isn't even trying to fight against this power anymore, and he doesn't really care that he just killed these 3 people. He's excited, to say the least. He just found out that he is, the most powerful person that really has ever existed that he at least knows of, and he's going to take advantage of this situation. He begins basically running towards basically where his last memory says where the villages were. Where this merged village, I guess you could say, actually was. So he sprints over there at insane speeds. He's pretty much flying at this point because, he can use his chains to fly. He can just ride on them basically, kind of like a Ghost Rider thing. I think that's Ghost Rider. No, it's not. Don't remember. Silver Surfer kind of thing. He's basically just riding on them and he's flying over there. He's going real fucking fast, and he gets there within a minute or two. He just went a few hundred miles, and he is, he's looking over the village at this point. They're mostly rebuilt already, it's an allied nation at this point now, so it's they had more manpower in order to build. It's not Boruto levels of technology and infrastructure or anything, but it's pretty good. So Naruto would basically begin flying down towards, the middle of the village. Everybody would basically look up and they just see this figure flying above them, slowly lowering itself down towards them. And Gaara and a few other of the people that knew exactly what was happening around this village and that they went to go look for Naruto, he looks up and he's just it looks kind of like Naruto except with a lot different colors. It's kind of weird, and what the hell is that chain that he's riding on? Naruto lands down in basically the middle of this village, and he begins looking around, looking for any familiar faces. He sees Gaara, and he instantly kills him. He doesn't really want Gaara to see exactly what's about to happen. He has some level of sympathy, however, it is not anywhere near enough to spare even a single one of the people here. So Naruto looks around the village now, and he's just like, okay, that seems to be everybody I know. As Naruto's chains grow in size, as they raise above the village and begin rapidly slamming down, and basically like a spiral of different attacks, they slam down into the entire village. They span the entire village because of how long they are, and it completely like destroys, incinerates. There's like nothing left of the village at this point. If anybody is left alive, they are absurdly badly injured under like buildings and rubble and everything like that, and there's like zero chance that they're actually going to live. So Naruto, satisfied with what he's done, knows that he's going to have a different idea. There's a few different allied nations, however, some of the ninja nations actually stayed, by themselves. They didn't want to accept the alliance that Naruto and Jiraiya proposed to them. So he's like, okay, well, time to go eliminate them too. So he goes and he literally completely destroys pretty much like the entire world. The only really remaining threat for Naruto would be part of the Akatsuki. Part of them are dead, but most of the more powerful members like Itachi, Pain, and Obito are actually still alive. So Naruto would basically be like, okay, with my new sensory abilities, because Naruto's chains can actually like sense the environment and everything like that around them, because why not? He knows exactly where the Akatsuki members are, or the remaining amount of them are. They're pretty much like the last remaining people on the earth, other than for Naruto himself, and he figures he might as well eliminate them too. Or maybe he doesn't want to kill them, just fight them for a little bit, and then let them escape, because otherwise Naruto's life would be boring without having people to torture and kill. Maybe he'll let them live. So he's just like, well, what exactly would they do? Like, I don't have like that long of time in order to, win this. Like, he realizes this and he's just like, they aren't able to like reproduce or anything like that. There's no like females or anything. Naruto debates what he wants to do, and then he remembers, oh, wait, there is actually a female Konan. He remembers that that one female Akatsuki member that's always basically, like, fucking stuck to Nagato is actually still alive, and he's like, oh, never mind. This is gonna work just fine for me if I just want to keep myself entertained. However, the Akatsuki have a different plan. Obito is just like, fuck you to basically, why can't I remember the name? Nagato at this point, and he's just like, he uses his genjutsu, because he might not even be able to, but I'm going to say he can. He uses his genjutsu, and he's just like, you know what, fuck you, revive Madara right fucking now. So he ends up using the Rene Rebirth, and Madara comes back, and he's just like, oh, how's the plan going, Obito? And Obito's just like, this motherfucker completely ruined all of our plans. This one singular person, he eliminated like everybody on the entire Earth. The Infinite Tsukiyomi wouldn't even be a point anymore because there's nobody here to put it in. And Madara is just like, oh, well, I mean, I can just revive them. Nobito's like, oh, well, I guess that works too. Madara walks over to Nagato, and he's just like, thanks for the eyeballs, bud, and he takes the Rinnegan back. He gets both of them right off the bat, and he's just like, okay, so where's this threat? And he's just like, basically Obito is just like, we're trying to stay as far away from him as possible. He's stronger than any one of us, and he could pretty much instantly wipe us out if he actually managed to find us and get to us. Madara's just like, oh, did you manage to get any of the tailed beasts? And he's just like, yeah, we pretty much got all of them except for the Nine Tails. And Madara's like, oh, well, did you get like any percentage of its power? And Obito's like, well, not really. Like, that didn't really work out. And Madara's like, okay, well, whatever. We'll just have to basically use a weaker version of the Ten Tails. So he's just like, okay, whatever, I'll revive it now. And he's just like, fucking Ten Tails pops out. And it goes through all of its various forms, and eventually Naruto would actually end up showing up next to it. At this point, it's fully evolved, and Madara basically is just like, okay, time to become the Ten Tails Jinchuriki, because, Obito doesn't really have anybody to stab him through the heart. He can't remove that seal, so he can't become the Ten Tails Jinchuriki. However, Madara can, obviously. So Madara's just like, okay, Ten Tails Jinchuriki time. So he becomes the Ten Tails Jinchuriki and he begins facing off against Naruto. So Naruto's just like, oh, interesting. They did have a plan. This could actually be a little bit of fun for me. So Naruto basically reveals that he hasn't even been using his full power this entire time. He has been using like 10%. So he's just like, he powers up and he's just like, I will show you 50% of my power. As the purple aura around Naruto get more dense and it gets bigger and it like extends itself, and Naruto's just like, rah. He's basically screaming at this point. He's like, this is to go even further. Yeah, he's going Super Saiyan 3 at this fucking point, and he's just like, he looks at Madara now, and Madara is just like, oh shit, oh fuck, oh shit at this point. He's just like, oh no. I can't do this. He begins to try to run away, and he's just like, fuck, I gotta get the fuck out of here. He's trying to run, and Naruto basically appears in front of him, and he's just like, how about no? As he basically, neck chops him, slamming him straight back to the ground, making a massive crater in the ground where he lands. Madara's just like, oh shit, I'm gonna fucking die at this point. He's like terrified that he's about to get completely and utterly butt fucked. So he's like, okay. What are my options here? One, I die to this fucking brat who, for some reason, is like the most OP-ass fucking person I've ever seen. Or I could just fucking kill myself. And he's just like, you know what? No. I can win. He's just like, okay. I gotta win at this point. Black Zetsu is very worried at this point. He's just like, shit. My mom isn't gonna, Naruto, my mom. He's just like fucking screaming at this point. He's having like a fucking glitch in the Matrix at this point. He's just like, mom. He's like fucking, he just can't like stop saying mom at this point. Everybody's like around him. He's just like, do you know what's wrong with him? Like, what the fuck? So obviously speaking, he's just like, okay, I have an idea. Because of the fact that Zetsus and everything like that enhance whatever they're using, Black Zetsu, like, he's going up. He's like, Madara. And Madara jumps back down. He's like, what the fuck do you want? Like, what do you want me to do? And he's just like, let me attach to you. You'll get a little bit stronger, and maybe you'll be strong enough to take this bitch on. Madara's like, okay, sure, why not? So Black Zetsu attaches himself to Madara at this point, and he's just like, okay, time to fight. So Naruto looks at this and he's like, oh, you're like a tiny bit stronger. Good for you. So he jumps back down and Naruto is just like, okay, how could I make this... He decides, do I want to make this painful or do I just want to instantly kill them both? He debates this for a while and then he's just like, I've had enough fun with them. I'm just going to get rid of them. So he basically extends a chain from his body, and he swings it. He completely chops Madara clean in half, and he flies down to him. Madara is trying to regenerate his lower half at this point, and he would obviously be able to do it, but Naruto's a little bit faster than Madara would be able to regenerate. He basically appears in front of Madara, grabbing him and completely, like, incinerating Madara's entire body, killing Madara and Black Zetsu in the process. He turns towards, like, the last few people at this point, and he's just like, huh. Konan, at this point, is, like, crying over Nagato's, like, lifeless body at this point. And Naruto's like, oh, that one is dead. He realizes that the only really, like, 3 people alive are actually, like, the most powerful people that really exist at this point. They're pretty powerful. It's, like, frickin' Itachi, Obito, and Konan. So he's just like, you know what? I'm just gonna leave him for now. So he leaves. He's just like, I'm out, chief, and he goes away. So, no matter, like, let's be honest here, no matter how much time has passed, however many generations of ninja went by, new techniques being developed, Naruto is not gonna be getting beat. Like, he is not gonna get beaten. So that's where I'm gonna leave this what if off. I'll see you guys in the next part, or not next part, but next what if. Sorry for the, like, over week-long hiatus I was on, but I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.